Good morning, Gambians. Our Republic of the Gambia stock taking gains and losses in 2024. Where is Janneh Commission? In the queue of unfinished government businesses by Honorable Omar Bonidabo. The Janneh Commission established to investigate the financial activities of former President Yahya Jammeh and his associates cost the Gambian taxpayers $50,951,261 buduts between 2017 to 2019. According to the former Justice Minister Abubakar Tambidu, however, its findings reveal misappropriate and theft on a scale that dwarfed its operational cost. In a 2019 white paper, Minister Tambidu stated, the commissioner generated $67,894,174. $67,894,170 from the sales of 138 tractors and 458 vehicles, 8,302,970 bullets. From the sales of 725 kettles and uncover hidden bank accounts that were frozen or identified during its works. The commissioner value cost beyond monetary terms. It represents an unparalleled effort to uncover systemic corruption. Despite the revelation, critically question about the commission's work remain unanswered. How were Jammeh's properties accounted for to ensure his legitimate assets were preserved? Who purchased this asset, and was the process transparent? Who purchased this asset, and was the process transparent? Jamalle Yahya Jammeh la fengo sisabulu fo nin sisiro fa tilinte labang fa tatanin silo labang. Was a tracking system established no monitor this transaction Jammeh's financial empire? The commission found that Yahya Jammeh amassed 281 properties, including residential and commercial estates, islands and reserves. It traced his wealth to illicit sources. $1.6 billion, $304 million, $29.4 million, $2.25 million were misappropriated during his tenure. Fine were also funneled through his wife Zainabu Jammeh, primarily for personal gains under the guise of charity. Niko Yahya nyine mismanage. Ikala musoe nyine mismanage. Sanyin kodomi ya sis adunta muntoleto. Ale minta ya bula adunta muntoleto. Jamalle ata. Abi jamalle bulu. Fa wel monitor tala wala fa korsiro keta la kukele bang. Fa nyimu tonale ti bang. Mbe wala nyinin kakang. Jammeh financially dealing were enabled by a network of associates, including military officers, private and individualists, and business notable enables, including General Suleiman Baji, Amadou Samba, Tarke Musa, Fadi Mazagi, Sirewali Ndaunjai, Edward Graham, and others. Corporate and institutionally complicity. The report highlighted complicity from financial institutions like Trust Bank Limited and Guarantee Trust Bank Gambia Limited, which facilitated unauthorized transactions in violation of anti-monetary laundering laws. Companies such as M.A. Karafi and Sons LT Limited and Mobile Cell Blue Ocean Wireless were also implicated in corrupt dealings. Missed opportunities and unanswered questions. 5 years after the report was presented to President Adama Barrow in March 2019, the recommendation remained largely unimplemented. The reasons for this initiate raise troubling questions. Why are no prosecutions being initiated for the crimes outlined in the reports? Why? Niko, molle nyinke, because I among nying transactional molle akai. Why are those people? Are those people stand to say yes in Dolanga nyinke? Why are individuals implicated in the report still holding public office? Mol min ya lon ko ye nyin kuryake tapala yake hansa ibe siri molla official tole. Ibe do ko ke kanne, which is wrong. The lack of action reflects poorly on the governmental commitment to justice and transparency. The current administration has not prioritized the report's recommendations, leaving Gambians delusions about accountability and reform. System failure and national loses. System failure and national loses. There's no prosecutions. The people fraud, depress the system are still working in the government, and we are still paying them from taxpayers' money. The Janneh Commission exposed the system, roots that permitted the governments during Jammeh's rule. However, the Gambian governance remains blocked by inefficiency, corruption, and mismanagement. Young men and women praised in dangerous migrations, seeking better opportunities, the deaths of over 70 children from a killer syrups that has never been investigated by the police, and alleged perpetrators brought to justice. The parents of the children have continued been left in a dark. Ye moldi wolifa for more than 70 people. Hansan wolbe nyinin karo kekan hansan justice man reveal between the omol min yalon ke problem o di dingolla. Economic hardship has escalated with rising cost of living and increasing poverty level. Bankola economy be boykang. Health condition o be sangararing. Cost of living be selela santo what. Call to action. As the Gambian approaches the 2026 presidential election, it is critically for citizens to demand accountability and reform. The failure to implement the Commission's recommendation system symbolizes a broader failure of governance. To honor these sacrifices of Gambians and rebuild the nation, the following steps are necessary. If the government is struggling to find a way forward, let me offer some advice about a starting point at least. Full implementation of the report. A first but deserve. Implementation of the Janneh Commission recommendations is critical. This includes asset recovery, legal actions against implicated individuals, and system reform to prevent future abuses. Implement the Janneh Commission recommendation without delay. Establish a permanent anti-corruption commission to monitor public and private financial dealings. Ensure that implicated individuals and institutions are held accountable. Okay? Invest in healthcare, education, and social protections to address system inequalities. Invest in healthcare, education, and social protection to address system inequalities. It has to be equal. Institutional reform. Establish a permanent anti-corruption commission with strong enforcement power. Strengthening financial regulatory mechanisms to enhance transparency and accountability, social and economic investment. Prioritize investment in healthcare, social protection, and food security to address the immediate need of population. Empower leadership. The government must demonstrate politically will to address system failure and build a governance framework based on accountability and integrity. Conclusion. Why has the legislative body not identified an instrument in the Janneh Commission? Report to hold the executive accountable if he fell in his authority to implement in full the Janneh Commission report recommendations. Our country finest asset, water, bridges, petroleum, borrowing and spending spreads have reached unprecedented level. We are poorer today than ever before. The injection of the huge amount of money injected into our economy externally and raised internally from 2016 to date sign nem fuariata kununti ya deme wato ni jawra wato sign bile kodo dontata kununti ya ni jawra wato bile na fulo tinyata kununti ya ni jawra wato adama baro ina kodo dinde mun tole ni ko ya deme mambeta adama baro mambeta katambi ya deme la ni ko ya deme na fongo sunya na la masakunda adama baro le sunya rorke anala masakunda katambi ya deme la. Cost of living in our country is reaching unaffordable level for many families. We have no system of social protection for the vulnerable. The number of people buying rice per cup is worrying, rising. We are undeniable a hungry nation. Undeniable hungry nation. We are undeniable a hungry nation. We are country and people psychologically traumatized, several depressed, acutely anxious and shattered emotionally from the dictatorship. The kleptocratic era of Adama Barrow has taken us back, and it has come with a big bang, causing confusion, hunger, and increased unhappiness in the general population. Our hopes are shattered. Our country and its best, our finest resources have been cruelly vandalized, heavily indebted, and we have failed to move forward for an inch. For an era of dictatorship, to a governance, crisis, and leadership that is of rhetoric with no substance, a country that is planless, a country that is strategy-less, a country with a leader without a sense of direction, a purpose of commitment to change the failure into success. There is no willingness to reform all the parts of the system that are not delivering the wild promises, chronically dysfunctionally and malfunctioning efficiency. The leaders following are in it for themselves and are not listening to anyone critically of their style of leadership and others. As we approach a critical game, Chacha in 2016, presidentially election, there will be opportunity for Gambians to vote to put all the wrong rights and to free our bridges, water, petroleum, protect our milk, saving from the burden of corruption and mismanagement. How could we justify a budget allocated that put more money into the presidential pocket? State House neighbor 200 meters away is EFSST is running daily with acute shortage of human and material resources and make a hospital a place of treatment, safety and recovery. As we solemnly approach the beginning of a new year, 2025, we must make the voices of the poor, the weak and the vulnerable heard loud and clear. We must consider a day of mourning for the victim of 22 years dictatorship, a day of mourning of all the toddlers and children who die from the killer syrup imported rigorously from India. A day of mourning for all our young boys and girls, men and women who die daily from their search of greener pasture away from our Republic of the Gambia. We are on board a boat called Gambia Ecolo, whose captain has no sense of direction, make a lot of noise without substances, has lost control, and we are at the mercy of the sea and winds of change. Unless we are restored from the turbulent water and wild winds and poor governance, our future as a nation would remain dull and stagnant. The Janneh Commission represents an important chapter in the Gambia journey towards accountability and justice, yet the lack of political will to act on its findings undermines its significance. Gambians must remain vigilant and demand better governance to ensure that the nation's resources and protections are its people's needs and prioritized. The Janneh Commission findings highlight the extent of corruption and governance failure under the Janneh regime. However, the current government in action undermine effort to restore justice and accountability as the government approaches the 2026 election. The report serves as a litmus test for the nation's commitment to reform, transparency, and progress. Without decisive actions, the country risks perpetuating circles of corruption and poverty. Long live the Gambia. May the dreams of the transparency, accountable, and prosperous nation become reality. Thank you so much, Gambians. This is my report 2026 to all the people in the Gambia, and let's all, try to listen and try to obey and respect and admit the report of 2025 today. Thank you so much.